One Love family, Jesse Tree here. Glorious rising to you. Just out here in the Food Forest Garden. I wanted to share a few wild plants and share a little bit about my healing path through earth, wind, fire, and water. Put up a post yesterday and I was talking a little bit of what I see to be the importance of the allocation of our energy at this time. We've been preoccupied with self-gain and what the Buddhists would call blind striving, where we're like hungry ghosts, never able to be satiated, always wanting more. And this path of breatharianism is moving into that place of not feeling that way, feeling fulfillment and contentment. And this has come through for me, and I think it could be an example in a way for all, nurturing land and interaction with the four elements of earth, wind, fire, and water. So I just finished sun gazing. I did breath work for about 2 hours before that, so that's some air and sun practice or fire practice. But I'm going to spend all day in a client's garden today, working with plants, grounded. That's some earth practice, and growing food. That's, the way to this breatharian state is you need to develop your health to the highest potential possible. And moving away from food starts with, healing the body with food and using the biophotons and the medicinal constituents of food, particularly plant foods, to start to move your body there. The biophotons is another form of this fire, and then water. Of course, I'm going to, at the end of my dry fast today at 23 hours, drink living water from plants, hydrogen water, and like my purium, which is alkalizing. There's this whole thing of like alkalizing the body to get the body battery going better. And if we do this frees up our sense of the need for economics, because on the one hand, we're growing food. You can't eat money. We're talking about food shortages out there. But here I'm dripping with currants. We got this plant over here I want you to meet. We got many plants. Here's mullein. This is excellent for clearing the airways, for improving that air element. It'll clear mucus out of the body, out of the lungs, and particularly heal the fine cilia hairs that get destroyed by smoke and pollution and such. We have this here. This is mallow family, malva. This is scarlet globe mallow, and the mallows are all things like hollyhocks and the little cheese wheel plants that grow on the ground, and they're all demulcent, so they soothe the gastrointestinal tract, and so learning your plants, you start to see, and these are just the wild things, and we have all the cultivated things like elderberry and goji berry and onions and peas and stuff over there. We also have another demulcent here. This is Siberian elm, which is a weed species, or an invasive species here in the Southwest in New Mexico. But you can eat the leaves, you can eat the inner bark, and like slippery elm, it's, a respiratory and sort of digestive tonic for demulcent, once again, soothing, and super high in minerals. And like all that leaf on there is much more nutritious than lettuce, for instance. The one I wanted you to meet here, this is curly dock. And curly dock is in the buckwheat family. You can use the roots to heal the liver and kidneys. It's also helps the body uptake iron. And the leaves are very high in iron, and this is way more nutritious and rich in iron than spinach, for instance. And look how productive it is. And this is just a quote-unquote weed that I let grow. So that's why I'm into superfoods. Superfoods are just wild foods that have unique properties, more tonic in action, to heal the body on that level. Also, with this dock, you can these being buckwheat, you can use these seeds, and we would make wild seed breads, wild pizzas, sun-baked breads out of these, combined with oat groats and various things soaked overnight, and then we add dates or nuts or raisins, or you could do it savory with like herbs like oregano and basil and rosemary, and then make these little loaves that you cook in the sun, and they're like fermented, soaked, sun-baked, raw, wild breads, much more nutritious than like, refined wheat that's been cooked into bread. We also have plants here like borage. Borage isn't exactly wild, but borage and comfrey are really good at knitting bones and, mineralizing the body. But you have to be careful not to use too much, because it can, cause kidney stones and problems for the kidneys. And we have plants here like yarrow. Yarrow is, on the one hand, a habitat for beneficials, but this is Achillea millefolium, so its story is, Achilles, when he was, all battling and everything, one asked the goddess Hera for a herb that would heal all his soldiers' wounds, and supposedly this was the tea he was dipped in by the ankle that made him impervious, to arrows and stuff like that. And it is really good at healing wounds. You can, there's been many times I've been hiking in the forest, I trip, and cut my bare feet, and I can just take a little yarrow, chew it up, stick it on there, maybe a little bit of pine pitch, and I have a band-aid that's antiseptic, antimicrobial, with healing herbal properties, So we have to learn that nature is what sustained us. Our abundance is natural abundance. Our monetary abundance, our abundance of health, and even on the tip of breatharian. If all these trees and everything died, there would be no breath, So after seeing like almost 400,000 acres of forest fire burning here in New Mexico, and being on this path of breatharianism, I see, how important it is. And we're really robbing our children and our grandchildren of their future if we don't heal the soil and heal the land. So I feel like this is a matter of international importance, that international security, more important than the food shortages, more important than the pandemic, more important than anything you got going today, to heal ourselves mentally and physically, and to nurture land and plants and re-garden the earth, so that there is true security and true health. So, and this whole practice of gardening, it is like I'm out here in the open air getting good air. I'm under the fire of the sun. I'm grounded on the earth, absorbing probiotic and absorbing negative electrons, and ions that heal my body. They're, antioxidant, and the living waters in these fruits and berries and stuff can heal your interstitial waters. It can heal it's living water, it's structured water, it's H3O2, so it improves that exclusion zone water to make the body battery more whole. So I imagine a time where, because we're all breatharians, it's just because of our vital force, our vital adjustment, and we've been adjusted to consumption, and the consumption is ever increasing and destroying the planet and destroying the world, or at least what's habitable for biology. And so if we now flip the script and, and realize that humans aren't bad for the earth, but our way is bad for the earth, and take it upon ourselves to garden, even if it's just your little, outdoor, backyard. If everyone did that, then we would also secure community resilience. That we grow food for ourselves and our neighbors, and sequester carbon, provide habitat for bees, create better oxygen. So let's make this front and center as we move on now and in years to come, that we're going to cultivate life. That's why I call myself life cultivationist, because I'm cultivating my life and the life of land and plants. Soil sequesters carbon, soil informs your microbiome, plants feed, they create breath. So let's take this on. Let's understand that, we want to get all spiritually high. There ain't a better way to be grounded in the 3D, in the earth, realizing that this is all crystallized fire from the sun. This is all spirit. And if we nurture it, we at the same time karmically are nurturing ourselves and making a better world for our children and grandchildren. So that's the message I want to share to you today. I hope you got something from this. Sending one love. Let the 4 elements be your angels and guides, and let's learn to live in oneness and wholeness with biology and our human family. And I feel like this is the way. So, one love, family. Be well.